Where do we begin? So what I'm going to attempt to do in this video is to tell a story, a 5-year story with hardly any footage behind it. Now I know most of you are hearing that and going, oh my gosh, this is going to be boring, but it's a very important video and I ask you to stay till the end just so you can kind of get a glimpse of how much this means to me. I think we should start back where it all began, freshman year of high school for me. When I very first saw this buck, he was probably about 100 inches, anywhere from 90 to 100 inches. And, I didn't really see or kill that many big bucks at the time, so I would have been tickled with him at that point. He came out at the end of this really big field with a couple of running buddies during the summer. And once season started, disappeared. Never saw him again. And to be honest, I thought, time to move on. But here would I find out soon that I was gravely mistaken. Year 2 rolls around, same deal, scouting during the summer, and I see this really nice buck on the end of this big field. So I get my binoculars up and I'm looking at him, and I see he's definitely grown. Of course, at the time I didn't know what buck it was. I'd forgotten the encounter I had with him earlier, the previous year. And so I watched him, told my dad about him, thinking, all right, I might have a shot at this buck during rifle season. The 3rd year rolls around. Again, no footage of this buck. I'm out scouting. That's how it always starts. I only see him a couple of times right before velvet season starts, and then he disappears. Fast forward to the end of the season that year. We're shed hunting. And my dad finds this. That is his shed when he was 3 years old. I mean, goodness gracious, that's a heck of a shed. And instantly in my head, I was thinking, okay, this might be something special. So the following year, after we find the shed, that summer rolls around. And I am driving like a bad owl, looking in every field around the area where this shed was found, because I'm bound and determined to find the buck that dropped this. I pull up to the property and I step out of the truck, and all I see is antlers. I didn't film much of it, but I got a 5-second clip of him standing at the end of the field. And at the time, I don't think I have ever seen a deer that big. I filmed a couple more little clips of him that I put in a YouTube short a long time ago. Kind of hinting at the fact that I was chasing a big one, but I never really wanted to fully talk about it because I was a little worried that, of course, if I talk about it, it's not going to happen. That's also why I didn't name him. I was worried that if I got too connected, that it wouldn't happen. I filmed that buck, filmed a YouTube short of him. Just kind of sat there in awe of his being, and plotted my plan to get him that year. The end of the 4th year rolls around, which this was last year's season, and I hunt him quite a few times. The only way you get lucky enough to shoot that buck is if a storm front's coming in off of the mountain. So every front that comes in last season, I'm in the blind watching the field, to no avail. He never showed up, and that's what brings us to a really interesting part of last season. So in the middle of my journey, finding this buck, getting him killed last year, I hear whispers through the neighborhood of a new hunter in town who got permission and he's been getting some pictures of some big bucks on camera. And what does he do? He posts them on Facebook. Bad idea. I can find those. So I find his account on Facebook, and I was heartbroken. He was posting pictures of the 11-pointer, asking if anybody wanted to come hunting with him. He was on a property about half a mile away, still connected to the same mountain, and I was determined to land permission there. So one weekend, I go door knocking, and I land permission on this property. Come to find out, the owner is selling. So I have 4 months of permission on that property before it runs out. So I didn't hesitate. I go back in there. I'm scouting, looking for signs, looking for old sheds, anything I can do to confirm that he is still there. And I go back in there and I find where the old hunter's tree stand was and where his trail camera was, where he got the pictures. This hunter may be the only other person, maybe the only person at all, who has seen this buck alive this season. But he was always one step ahead of me. I couldn't figure out how to get in front of this buck. Never found any other sheds that year. His big sheds, never found him, because last year was his prime. He had to be 150 plus, definitely. So we move into this year where we have a bit more footage and some never before seen footage. Scouting season right before Velvet. Here we go.
I don't know if I'm ever going to post this footage or not. But we have like 3.5 weeks until Velvet season. And my target buck, who I've watched for 5 years, is standing 250 yards away from me and Bryce right now. And he's back in his early season core area with all of his running buddies. Oh, that is the biggest buck I've ever laid my eyes on. And I am genuinely shook. Now I understand why Lee Ellis does what he does.
That one over that hill.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There's a second giant. Oh my gosh. There's a second giant. I've seen that buck before. Oh my gosh. I've seen that buck before. Oh my gosh. I will dedicate my whole season to these 2 bucks. Oh my. I don't know. I'm genuinely shocked. The main 11-pointer, whom I've been after for 5 years, maybe 6, is out there right now. And there's another one that's almost as big, if not bigger than him. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should post this footage yet. I do not know what to do. But I will dedicate my whole season to those 2 bucks right there. My whole season.
After watching this deer through scouting season, I decided that I was going to try to dedicate my season to him as much as I could. You know, because he's so hard to track down and dial down later into the season. I'm a week out from a trip to New York, going up there for rifle season, and muzzleloader starts down here in Tennessee. Typically, what muzzleloader brings is the pre-rut to early rut. Me and my dad are looking at our weather app, and we see that there's a huge snow front coming in. So we're sitting in this blind, and the snow's coming down, the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour, and we're seeing a lot of deer. There's a hot doe in the area. We just can't find her. This whole 200-yard long field, all these deer that we see are coming right next to us on our left. I remember pulling up my binoculars, looking into the thicket, and seeing nothing but that, except about 2 times bigger. How in the world was I going to get him killed in there? It was too thick. The only way would be if he came right to the edge of the thicket. A long, very stressful rest of the sit takes place after my dad leaves. I'm sitting there, 25 degrees, with a muzzleloader, watching the biggest deer potentially of my life walking around in this tiny 20 yards by 20 yards thicket of woods with a hot doe chasing little bucks out of the area. I'm praying to the Lord above to give me an opportunity at this deer. And no sooner I say that, this decent 100-inch 8-pointer comes up to the edge of the field and looks into the thicket. He chases the buck away and he goes back and beds down. I'm freaking out. Lord, give me one more opportunity at this deer and I will not screw it up. Just give me one more opportunity. Then another little buck showed up and he goes to chase off the 8-pointer, or the little 8-pointer, another one. And I've got a gap about this big in between 2 trees. It was like it was happening in slow motion. He walks up, turns and looks at the 8-pointer, threw my muzzleloader up, put it right there in the shoulder. Shoot. Smoke clears. Nothing. And I saw him dropped in his tracks, laying in the thicket. The 11-pointer. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I know it might come across as a little boring because as far as kill shots go, it's got none. As far as footage goes, it's got a little bit. But I mainly just wanted to put this out here because the story itself is very important to me. And maybe you guys will find some sort of connection with it. But I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.